Okay. So I welcome you all to this webinar. This is the 28th webinar in the webinar series hosted by IEEE Malabar Subsection in association with IEEE Malabar Hub. So on every Thursday, 5:30, we conduct this webinar. And today, we are fortunate to have Dr. B. Barani Sundaram, Professor, Department of CS, College of Informatics, Bule Hora University, Ethiopia. He is talking about the topic cybersecurity challenges, vulnerabilities, and how to be safe, precautions, and safe practices. Dr. B. Sundaram is a person with strong subject knowledge and excellent research experience in the field of computer science, engineering, and information technology. He completed his BE and ME in computer science from Bharatiyar University, and he has a PhD from Allahabad University in the area of web data mining. He is working in educational institutions for the past 28 years with highly potential and achieved excellent academic and administration success. He is having 12 years of experience in PhD research guidance. He was Vice Principal, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, KMCT College of Engineering, Kozhikode. He is a professor at Haramaya University, Ethiopia, researcher and professor at Defense University, Ethiopia, and associate dean at Bule Hora University, Ethiopia. He has taken various responsibilities and duties like Vice Principal, Head of Department, Chairman, Board of Studies, Chairman, Question Paper Scrutinizing and Paper Valuation Committee, etc. He was also a member in the PG Curriculum Development Committee of Haramaya University and Defense University, Ethiopia. He has published more than 50 papers in peer-reviewed journal indexed in SCI and Scopus. He has got 323 citations to his research work. He was also a reviewer for Springer, Elsevier, and other SCI journals. He has completed various projects under Ministry of Education, sponsored projects, Ethiopia. So this is a brief introduction about today's speaker. So before handing over to our resource person, I have some instruction for the participants. Please mute your audio. Audience, please mute your audio. Otherwise, it will cause disturbance to the speaker as well as other audience. So I invite Dr. B. Sundaram for today's webinar on cybersecurity challenges and vulnerabilities. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Are you able to hear me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me take the opportunity to thank all of you for the opportunity given to me. Let me try my best to do justice for the task given. Cyber security. So when we say cyber security, we are talking about the protection of internet connected systems including data from cyber attacks. So when I say cyber security, it's audio is not clear?
Not clear now. Some breaking is coming in between.
Okay. Now let me come closer. Are you able to hear me well?
Now it's okay.
Yeah, okay. So cyber threats are fundamentally asymmetrical risks in smaller groups of individuals which can cause disproportionately large amount of damage. So when I say the cyber crime, hello, is it clear?
Again, some breaking is coming.
Breaking, actually. Okay. Maybe it's all due to the internet, I hope. I'm closer to the mic and I'm trying my best to give you best audio. So the cybercrime can take shape in variety of formats from individuals or groups with different motivating factors. Normally, at any given point of time, about 7 billion devices are connected to internet. And this number is expected to grow towards 24.1 billion by 2030, with an annual growth rate of 11%. So we can understand the task of securing people from cyber attacks is very, very difficult. As large as the human population in the world, we also have the responsibility to secure a similar number of devices. So the critical challenge of cybersecurity involves getting the right professional who can really secure the organization. Hello? Can you hear me? I hope I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes,
I am audible?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the biggest challenge among the tasks under cybersecurity is also getting the right professional. We find a lot of people with generic skills at the lower end of the spectrum, but it's difficult to identify a talented professional who can exactly identify the attack and launch a suitable compensating or securing mechanism. So the top 5 emerging security challenges, as you see there, one is data breach. So when I say data breach, I mean intentional or unintentional release of secure or private or confidential information to an untrusted environment. It is also called data leak. The second challenge is misconfiguration in secure interface or application. Like enabling the debugging mode, setting up the incorrect folder permissions and pages by mistakenly enabled, using default accounts and passwords, allowance. These are all some of the things that on the application layer of different network applications allows the hackers to pick up which is used otherwise for a malicious purpose. The malicious insider the CLDAP protocol attack, that is connectionless directory access protocol attack, which brought down the entire industry, causing millions of dollars loss to Amazon. The next challenge in this order is distributed denial of service attack. So when we say this one, we mean that the capacity of the system is exceeded by the number of requests that are beyond the capacity of the system to respond. That is, look, normally when you see how many requests a web server can handle simultaneously, it's $1 million question. So if we come to know about this total number of requests that can be handled, if the requests are exceeding this one, automatically the system is going to be down. So coming to the answer, if you see every request from different clients can reach to the server into the total number of available ports. That is 65,535 ports are there normally. 1,024 ports are assigned for regular applications and different protocols. So when you subtract this one, probably is the total number of ports that are free, and probably you can say that this can be the total number of requests a web server or any other server can handle. So when the requests cross this limit, automatically the server is down. This is the idea behind this DDoS attacks. Different kind of the DDoS attacks are ICMP flooding, SYN flooding, ping of death, slow loris, NTP amplification, HTTP flooding, etc. So another challenge which I just failed to mention was malicious insider threat. I told you one of the attack was from an insider who used his credential to bring down the Amazon web server. However, the categories include non-responders, inadvertent insiders, insider collusion, that is insiders making a secret agreement with the opposite side, which is at the evil side, persistent malicious insiders. By adapting to a behavioral analysis on each individual employee's. So these different attacks are there that we need to handle. Is an interesting part of the cyber attacks. It is a social engineering based attack where the attacker steals the user data, including login and credit card details, etc. He manages this through an email or by instant messaging or making the user to go to a false website which claims to be a legitimate one where the user has a trust, and then he enters these details that are picked up for malicious purposes. Malware threats. So when I say malware threats, first of all, let us see what is a malware. A malicious software. In other words, a malicious software is one that has a bad intention towards the computer, the software and hardware and the user data. So the intentions are different. And when you look at the common malware types, we point to them that could cause serious issues. One is known as the keyloggers. So when you see a keylogger, it is a set of code that is inserted into a computer log or a screenshot without the knowledge of the legitimate user and passes this information to someone far away. So next in this category of malware is a ransomware. So when we say ransomware, these ransomwares, in fact, encrypt all the data of the computer. $315 million were lost because of this ransomware attack. And so next in this order is a cryptojacking. So when I say cryptojacking, without the knowledge of the owner of the system, his system will be compromised, and then the computing power of the system will be used to mine the cryptocurrencies without the consent of the owner or the user, original legitimate user. So this mining is used to mine Bitcoin or Ethereum, like the digital currencies. The next one is IoT threats. So when we say IoT, it is actually Internet of Things. As you know, the market for Internet of Things is growing, and this market is expected to expand into $1.1 trillion by the year 2026. So this is a potential area where a huge economy is being built or created. So this is also a potential area where a lot of the cyber criminals wander and try to make hay during the sunshine. So as you see, the next one is a state-sponsored threat. So the state-sponsored threat is a particular country trying to attack the IT assets of another country. Purpose is obvious. It could be to threaten or to arm twist the other country where the dialogues failed. One good example about this is in November 2007, the Iran Stuxnet worm. In Natanz, thousands of centrifuges were made to burn themselves. This attack was launched on SCADA systems. The launched attack was planned by US and Israel jointly. To get surprised, this program was started under the Bush regime and was also continued during the Barack Obama regime, and the mission was completed. Lastly, the worm destroyed itself. So the categories of cyber criminals. So as you see, one of the main motives of this organized crime is finance. There are countries who harbor and host this kind of cyber criminal groups. Outstanding countries are Russia and China. Sorry to say that. We have statistics to support what I said. So next is the nation state actors, where group of institutions are groomed to develop people with hacking skills and exploit them or brainwash them to work against the interest of other country. The next category of cyber criminals are activist groups or hacker hacktivists. So when you say this one, these are people with some ideals who try to defeat the other group by creating a huge loss for them. Lastly, the insiders. Most of the time, the problems are only from inside an organization. Always there are dissatisfied employees, even good employees, when they fail to be recognized for their work and commitment, slowly they also turn to be disgruntled people. So they try to cooperate with criminal groups outside, which they do not really know that their intent is malicious, but they might help them or be over cooperative to them, which might cause the organization into a huge trouble. Top causes of cyber security breaches: hacking, phishing, and malware incidents are the #1 causes of all the security breaches today. So if you really look at the reason for this is the human negligence or not having the expected alertness, even though they have a solution in hand. So education and awareness are critically important to fight this battle of cyber criminals. The top causes of data security breaches: 31% of the data security breaches are from phishing, hacking, and malware. 24% is from the individual mistakes. 17% is by external theft. 14% is some kind of errors from the vendor side. 8% from internal theft, and 6% is because of the lost or improper disposal of confidential materials in the form of paper and garbage. So countries from where these threats emerge: Russia unexpectedly stand in the #1 position, hosting around 30 highly capable cyber crime groups with an annual income package of $2 billion. The second in the list is China, standing with launching almost 41% of all cyber attacks worldwide. Third is Romania, followed by Eastern Europe, Brazil, United States, South Korea, and Nigeria. So, which country has the best hackers? Obviously, since 41% of the world's cyber attacks are emerging from China, let us give the position to China, followed by United States, Turkey, Russia, Taiwan, Brazil, and Romania. So the top cyber attacks of 2020, the software AG ransom attack. So when I say this one, I am just talking about the world's second largest software reseller and the 7th largest software seller of Europe. He was attacked by the Clop ransomware, and then he was demanded $20 million to restore the data for his organization. So the next was the Sofra Styria ransomware attack, where the French IT giant was attacked and he had to handle the huge attack where he eventually has to bow down to the attackers. So next, the Saifar Shah malware attack and ransomware attack. These two attacks were very huge in the sense that they cost millions of dollars lost to the organizations. And the Carnival Corporation data breach was, the Carnival Corporation is a huge cruise operator in United States. So the ransomware that attacked this corporation took away all the schedule, plan, crew members, details of this organization that brought down the entire organization down. So the Saifar malware attack was a Chicago-based leading global legal firm which was subjected to an aggressive ransomware attack during October 10 of 2020. So these days, followed by Maze ransomware attack, Revil ransomware, Tycoon ransomware. These are all some of the top cyber attacks of 2020. So as you see here, according to a research, the cybersecurity vulnerabilities that caused the ransomware infection in managed service providers. So when I say managed service providers, we talk about the internet service providers who offer the huge connectivity across the world. So this was a research, and the research results have given us a clue about the biggest cause of the ransomware infection. 67% of contribution to this infection was from spam or phishing emails. 36% contributed to lack of cybersecurity training. 30% was the attribution from weak passwords or access management. 25% because of poor user practices. 16% was from malicious websites or web ads. 16% was from clickbait traps. So, how to prevent a data breach? So this data breach prevention life cycle tells us that first, one has to identify the assets, information, hardware, software. Assets need to be identified. Once you identify the assets, you also try to associate the risks that can affect it. After different risks, arrange the risks in the order of financial and other losses that it can cause for any organization. For each risk, find out, obtain, or create remedies, then whenever you come across a risk being affected, then with the available solutions which you have already listed, you will manage the risk. We do have two kind of approach for this one. One is to build a risk management table. The other one is to have the risk information sheets. So the risk management table will include the domain in which the risk is appearing, the name of the risk, the percentage of the likelihood of the risk, the impact of the risk, and based on this you reorder the table and you get the topmost risk which needed to be handled with regard to your data breach. So the risk information sheets are similar while you maintain these things in a database with the risk ID. So whenever a particular risk is prevalent, you go for searching the information from the risk information sheets regarding the way how you can handle, mitigate, and then get the suggestions from there, and then you will implement. The key statistics: 94% of malware is delivered via email. 94% of the malwares are delivered via the email. And phishing attacks account for more than 80% of the reported security incidents. One is that we should be very careful about the emails from the unknown entities. Before opening it twice, think if it's very important. Unless and otherwise, just mark it spam. Next is the phishing attacks. Wrongly claiming their masqueraded identity is what is the strength of all these phishing attacks through different malicious or wrong intended websites. So we have to be very careful when you go to the second part of the web. We all know that we have the surface web where all the contents are indexed by Google. There are also other two webs, the deep web and the dark web. Though most of the information professionals are looking for are available freely in these two deep and dark webs, but whenever you venture there, there is also an inherent issue of security that you have to take care. Approximately $17,700 is lost every minute due to phishing attacks in the United States. 60% of breaches involved vulnerabilities for which a patch was available but not applied. See, most of the time, our application or our operating system or our browser tells us that there is a patch, an update available. Please update. But the surprising or sad fact is that all of us or most of us, we ignore. 63% of companies said that their data was potentially compromised in the last 12 months due to a hardware or a chip level security breach. That means even the chip manufacturers also have to be careful about this, like Intel and others. Even their security level until now is not proved optimum. Attacks on IoT devices tripled in the first half of 2020. Fileless attacks grew by 256%. in the first half of 2020, leaving no clue for the security analysts to understand from where the attack was launched. 40% of IT leaders say that the security jobs are most difficult to fill. So as you see here, the ransomware is on the attacking almost all areas of the IT education and industry. $133,000 is the average loss per day of Fortune 500 companies in United States. 92% of malware is delivered through email. Every 11 seconds, they say, every 11 seconds, an organization will be attacked by ransomware in 2021. Cybercrime will cost the world $6 trillion annually by 2021, up from $3 trillion in 2015. So the total retail sales of United States is not more than 6 to 7 trillion currently. You can imagine the total income is lost the other side by cyber attacks. And a saddest part is that 69 companies worldwide believe that the threats on ground, what they are facing, cannot be blocked by antivirus softwares. So all the antivirus softwares are capable, but most of the time they come to understand about a particular attack is already after 1 year or so. So there is a concept called zero-day attack. That means from the time an attack is launched, from the time the attack is realized. So until this time, normally this time is ranging between 1 year up to 3-4 years, depending on the sophistication of the attack. How do I know that my computer is infected? The slowing down of a computer's performance, endless pop-ups and spam, and a legitimate user is logged out of his own computer, changes to the home page, unknown programs automatically starting and running in your computers, mass emails sent from your email account. So these all could be a good indication that my system is infected. So famous malwares, within brackets we can say, most damaging malwares, in other words, Locky was released in 2016, WannaCry in 2017, infected millions of computers across 150 countries. Bad Rabbit, Ryuk, Trolldash, Jigsaw, CryptoLocker, Petya, these are all different malwares. That is the ransomware. Ransomware is also a type of malware. So now what does this ransomware do? It gets into your system, it takes all the data and encrypt it with an idea to either give you back the data provided when you give money, or with an idea to punish you when you refuse to pay them what they want. So one free advice is that if your system is attacked by a ransomware, you may try any of these free decryption tools. If you are lucky enough, you might get your data back. Otherwise, you may have to yield to the guy who is sending you the threat. AES_NI, Alcatraz Locker, Apocalypse, Bad Block, BART, Big Bob Pros, BTCware, Triplet. These are some of the free ransomware decryption tools. If we are subjected, we may try these things. Otherwise, normally what happens is whenever an individual is subjected to a ransomware attack, he should be ready to pay somewhere around $300 to $900. But the condition will be that he will be asked to make the payment in Bitcoin. So the anonymity can be maintained. So the cyber attack is an exploitation of computer systems and networks. It uses malicious code to alter the computer logic, data, and lead to cyber crimes. So the attacks can be classified, cyber attacks can be classified into two larger categories. One is web-based attack, the other is a system-based attack. So when you say the web-based attack, I am talking about injection attack. So injection attack is an attack in which some data will be injected into the web application to manipulate the application and fetch the required information. The example is SQL injection, code injection, log injection, XML injection, etc. So next is DNS spoofing. As all of us know, whenever there is a URL, the system is totally new to interpret where is this URL, what is the IP that belongs to this uniform resource locator. The immediate solution is the DNS, right? A DNS query will bring the solution to the client about where the particular URL and the associated IP address. This is from the forward lookup zone. Now, this DNS spoofing is corrupting the DNS data by injecting a false data into the DNS cache, so that if you are asking for the IP address of yahoo.com to DNS, it is going to return you not the original IP address of the yahoo.com, but it is going to return a spoofed IP address, which will directly take you to a system where a malicious similar website like yahoo.com is running, and innocently you will put all your data, and then you find that it is used for wrong purposes. Next is session hijacking. So normally different web applications maintain cookies and user sessions. So by stealing the session variables and cookies, attacker can create a new session with the same web application and have full access to the user's data and personal assets. The next is phishing. It's a type of attack which attempts to steal sensitive information like login credentials, credit card number, where the user is acting as a trustworthy entity in the electronic communication. Brute force. So this is a trial and error method used by hackers to guess a password or personal identification number or a credit card passcode. There are different brute forcing techniques that are employed. Even some softwares are available for this purpose, like Wi-Fi, and many of them available in Kali Linux. Denial of service attack. As I told you little while before, the denial of service attack harbors over the capacity of the server to respond. While I said that there can be about 65,555 requests minus 1,024 ports that are already assigned, still we cannot have this many requests simultaneously made to the server, in the sense that there are two types of servers, if you know, largely. One is the Apache web server, the other is a IaaS, Internet Information Server from the Windows platform. So these two servers by default have limited capability to the server to serve the requests from the client. If you see the Apache, if you configure Apache by default, it has a limitation of 150 requests per second that the server can handle. And while the Internet Information Server offers an upper limit of 5,000 requests that can be handled by the web server. So we can understand any request beyond this number will have to just wait. Or if it is launched simultaneously, a time stamping can be used to differentiate the first set of requests to second set of requests and so on, depending upon the maximum capacity of the server to support. So whenever I am going to create a request that is beyond this number, what I have told you, then it is difficult for the server to handle, which is also going to be further limited by the processor, memory, front-side bus capabilities of the server hosting machine. So these denial of service attacks are categorized as volume-based attacks, protocol attacks, and application layer attacks. And if you see, I can give you one example about this denial of service attack by just making a ping of death request. For example, of course, this is not possible from the Windows machine. If you go to Kali Linux, ping -t-l followed by anything above 65,555. What is this 65,555? This is the maximum number of the size of the packet. I repeat, ping -t-l 65,555. Instead of 555, make it 65,600 followed by the IP address. It could be anything, 128.10.1.1, whatever. So now what happens, if you see, this ICMP packet has a size of 65,600 bytes, I said. Now this 65,600 bytes, when it goes out of your Ethernet card, goes in the form of frames with a maximum size of 1,526 bytes. So each frame will go to the destination machine, that is the machine under attack, and this machine innocently will be collecting all the data frames. When the last data frame is received, it is going to build all the data frames together to know what is this packet is about, where it will understand that the size of addition of all these data frames is exceeding the maximum limit of a packet in TCP, which is 65,555. So the server doesn't know how to handle this larger packet size, and it is going to go into a processing of finding out what went wrong, whether there is a duplicate frame that was added again, and so on. So these kind of attacks make the server to get into an indefinite loop where it cannot come out. Temporarily, at least it is down. So next is the dictionary attack. So the dictionary attack is actually associated with the common passwords like a tool Wi-Fi in Kali Linux, you have a facility to add the dictionary database to it and build the database as bigger as possible, so that when you subject this Wi-Fi to guess the password, it is going to get the password out of this dictionary itself. So if your password is a common password, 100% it is going to detect it very, very soon, within seconds. But if it is a complicated, still it will get it. That means you don't have an option. I think in Malayalam there is a saying, if somebody has determined to kill you, better to die, isn't it? So that way, there is no escape. However, you can be safe and sure. Let me give some solutions at the end of this discussion. URL interpretation, it is a type of attack where we can change the certain parts of the URL, and you will not be able to make out whether this URL belongs to a regular or right identity. Like Adidas, most of the fake things from China will appear as if it is Adidas, but in between one particular letter is changed and it's a fake product. But still we will buy it in a hurry without really examining it. So this URL interpretation is similar. There are standard URLs with regard to ICICI Bank, SBI.com or whatever. But when we are unable to properly identify the right one, you may get lost. The file inclusion attacks, it's a type of attack that allows the attacker to access unauthorized essential files which is available on the web server using the include functionality. As you see in web server, there are always different directories. Some directories are restricted for different logins. So just by bypassing it using some malicious, libraries that are already present in different server-side scripting languages, these directories are accessed and then hacked. Man-in-the-middle attack. So this type of attack is very common, where the attacker cleverly places himself in between the server and client during a communication, act as if he is a legitimate intermediate node. So as the communication will be through him, then he will do all sorts of things with the received message. So the system-based attacks are virus, worm, Trojan horse, backdoors, and bots. So the first two are very familiar. Trojan horse is an application that acts as a legitimate application while it will do something else. Webcelerator is one of it, which acts as if it is going to speed up your internet connectivity while it might, send or make someone online when you are online. Backdoor is a malicious malware that gets an access into your system by checking the vulnerabilities that are existing in the services and protocols, and then getting a full access to your system and making use of all the things that are available inside your system. In other words, a remote logger will be able to access your system resources and do whatever you can, like being somewhere. Bot is another malware. Not all bots are bad. Googlebot is also a crawler that browses the whole web and try to identify different preferences. But some bots are going to recruit the innocent computers who are trapped by some spearheading directives. You will be recruited into the botnet, and without your knowledge, you become the part of a botnet. And whenever the owner of the botnet wanted you to launch an attack, simply you are going to follow his order and then launch an attack on somebody whom you do not know, even without knowing that your system is launching this attack. The biggest challenges are ransomware evolution, blockchain revolution. Let me interrupt. May I know how many minutes are left for me?
So you can
Hello?
take 5-10 minutes, sir.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes you can take.
Okay, so yeah, I will speed up, that's fine. Yeah. So the ransomware is a malware whose idea is to just lock the victim's computer and data. The blockchain is another huge revolution where digitally two peers can exchange a value without the intervention of a third party endorsing it. So the blockchain supports cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. IoT threats, as I told you, the IoT devices are increasing. Billions of devices are going to get connected without human intervention, communicating between themselves. So this is also a huge area where a lot of protection is needed. AI expansion, where the artificial intelligence is playing a bigger role in handling the big data. So now, as machines are going to handle the human data, there is also a huge task where these data can be manipulated from the eyes and control of the machines. Serverless app vulnerability. These days, you have Amazon Lambda and other similar cloud service providers where you can directly start running your application without worrying about the infrastructure, settings, and specifications. So this is also a huge area of cybersecurity, a vulnerable area. So we need to be careful. So lastly, coming to giving some precautions when we are browsing the web, we may be subjected to some cyber attack. So to reduce the possibility, check whether the site uses HTTPS, look for a privacy policy. Don't blindly trust badges. The right-hand side is what you have the badges. Badges are from some reputed organizations like VeriSign, McAfee, etc. And when you are going to open a website, you will get some warnings from your browser itself. So the browser will say that this site includes Flash. Would you like to install Flash Player? Pop-ups, redirection of you without your consent to other unsafe websites. When you search about this web, the search engine will give you warning. Please be careful before you proceed. Bad spelling and grammar. Most of the time, these kind of malicious attacks are launched from not that much literate people who are crookedly trained with a limited area of attacking knowledge, illogical text, weird pictures, no space for product reviews, no written policies, and a too attractive price. And you may also look for the domain owner from whois-history.whoisxmlapi.com will tell you about the history of the particular domain, how long this domain is being used by this website, some credentials about that, details you might find, and this can caution you whether you can proceed or not. If you still have gone into the site, but suddenly you got a doubt, look for the customer care number. Every site is supposed to have a contact us or a customer care number, or the site acts as if it's like a website of your bank. Then you may take the customer care number and call them separately, whether some inquiries from you have come to me or whether you have this particular URL which is legitimately used or so on. When you think that you are entering some insecure websites, you may also use VPNs like Siphon, yourfreedom.net, right? These are all some of the VPNs that can come in help actually to secure us. So one is protecting yourself from the websites. The other is protecting yourself when you are using your smartphone. So if you are using an iPhone, please don't jailbreak it, assuming that you are going to get a lot of freedom to use different apps. So please don't do that. Make the smartphone locks to get the screen lock very quick, 30 seconds, right? So this will help you. Once your screen is locked, there is no access to it. So this kind of, when you are not attending to your phone, immediately it should get locked. Perform all software updates, whatever your apps and your operating system like Apple iOS or Google Android is asking you for. Set up two-factor or multi-factor authentication. Simply don't use one simple password and enter into. Also have a secondary biometric or a pattern or any other second factor authentication. Create long passcodes. Please do not have passwords that are similar to your birthday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or your phone number, etc. Turn on erase data. Suppose you lost your phone, right? What is going to happen to your phone? So these days you have an app called Auto Wipe. You go to Google Play Store and type Auto Wipe, and you will find a number of applications that are available. Take them, configure them. So whenever you lose your phone, if it is with a stranger, he is going to try opening your phone or unlocking it. During this process, this Auto Wipe app will activate itself and will destroy all the data from your phone. So this is also one solution. Avoid phishing and pop-ups. Try to have pop-up blockers so that you don't get misleaded or taken somewhere else. Turn off the autofill option. Even when you are filling up your bank details for your online bank activity, just don't fill up, make your browser in the phone or in your system to autofill your credit card number, your account number, and etc. Right? Please meticulously put it by yourself, so at least you will be secure. When your phone is lost, you can still be safe. Lastly, some tips for our users to be safe from different cyber attacks. Click without thinking is reckless. Please do not do that. Click it only when you know that it's from a very safe option. Two-factor authentication. We saw it in the mobile phone protection. Look out for phishing scams. Over 3 billion fake emails are sent every day. Phishing attacks are greatest cybersecurity threats where everybody can fall for it. So please be aware. Check where your presence on websites or wherever. Be very, very careful. Keep track of your digital footprints. You have created some accounts in different web applications where sometimes you might have bought items using your credit card numbers and your PIN, and some legitimate credentials are placed there. So you should track all of them and do not allow them to save it for ease of a purchase next time. Please do not do that. Keep up with the updates. Wherever there is a software update required, please do it, even though it's going to take up your precious time. Connect securely. Whenever you connect to a website, your browser will tell your connection is private. It is not secure. In such a case, please be very careful. For example, if you are logging into your own organizational web application, it's a private connection. But if you are also similarly doing with other web application where you are given such a caution, please be careful. Google, what is this is about? Why such a caution is coming to me? Secure your mobile device. So please don't leave your mobile device unattended. Don't download applications from public Wi-Fi's. Don't get connected yourself to a untrusted Wi-Fi just because it's freely available. Lastly, when your system is safe, there is no vulnerability in the applications, network, and web applications that you are running in your system, the hacker is not going to leave you still. He will use the social engineering. So the social engineering is a tricky way of, it's a mind game, tricking you to reveal your identity without really knowing that will be used against you. So please be careful. Do not place your important credentials on online social networking sites. Even when you do, try to place not 100% right credentials that you are using with real-time applications. Lastly, most of the attacks leave you helpless. That means you will lose your data unless and otherwise you pay for a big money. So Please back up your data. These days you have high-speed devices. In Windows, you have an option. Go to settings, backup, add a new hardware. Simply back up your data to the hardware. In case your system is down, still you will be able to just come alive from backup itself. Lastly, please don't think that it cannot happen to me, because I don't visit unsafe websites. It doesn't make a difference. Cyber criminals do not spare people who don't visit unnecessary or bad sites. I don't go to torrents. I don't go to deep web. No, still you will be a victim. So please be very careful, and alertness always will help. Finally, additional training with regard to cyber security will always help. These mentioned listings can help you to go for a better training. Most of them are free. Inspired e-learning, Iron Scales, InfoSec, COFENS, SANS Institute of Security Awareness Training, WebRoot Security Awareness Training, Barracuda Fish Line, Know Before. These are all some of the links from where you can get training. I didn't place the URLs here. Please Google them, you will find. They are not difficult. And I have completed my talk. Thank you for the opportunity. Dr. Sabik, IEEE Malabar Subsection. Thank you very much.
Audience, if you have any queries, you can ask through chat box, or you can unmute and ask.
I'm not hearing. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. If anybody is having any questions, they can ask directly or through chat box. Participants, if you have any.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question, sir.
Please.
Do you have any hacking experience?
Well, actually, yes, of course, I do have a little hacking experience. I do have.
How was the feeling?
Well, I think, probably you will feel good when you do it. But my case, actually, I had to just learn hacking because my students asked me, I'm teaching cybersecurity. Do you have an idea about hacking? And they asked me, can you just, here in Ethiopia, most of the time, instead of talking to them theoretically, you have to show them most of the things practically. So for that purpose, I just learned it. I'm not practicing it for your information, but definitely I can just, do something.
Which one is the best platform for ethical hacking? To learn ethical hacking?
I will recommend you Kali Linux.
That's a platform where I get.
Yeah. Tools, actually. If you go, Wi-Fi is one of it.
Wi-Fi, okay.
Wi-Fi. Yeah, this is actually used for, you can use this wireless hacking tool just simply to hack any Wi-Fi around you. Simply it will hack it. If the password is a weak one, just it takes some seconds actually for it to hack it. Even the hardest password can also be hacked, for your information.
Okay.
It will take a lot of time, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, there are questions on chat box.
Chat box, yeah. Okay, let me just.
Yeah, I'll read it out, sir.
Okay.
In cybersecurity attack, which will be language, platform, or editor, well known.
Okay. Language, platform,
Or editor.
or
Editor,
editor. Okay, okay, okay,
well known.
okay. Okay, okay. Next question. I will answer all the questions together.
Can we assume Linux OS using in computer system will provide more security when compared with Windows?
Okay,
So what is the comparison between Linux and Windows
okay, okay,
as far as security is concerned?
okay, okay. The next question.
These two questions came.
Okay, okay. So let me answer. So the first question, which language we can use for mounting some cyber attacks, isn't it? So I will tell you, to start with, you can launch very simply, very easily some, ICMP attacks. With one simple command tool, I think you are able to see my screen. Let me open a very small script for you. Can you see the, can you see the script?
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a shell scripting. So this is in Windows itself. We are just launching a ping of death attack. If you remove this -w and -n, you will see that the machine is continuously replying. As I told you, if I will increase the -l, there is an option, right? 65,500. If I make it 66,000, the system cannot recover actually. But this kind of an attack is not an allowed option in Windows itself, right? Because as we know that Windows is a proprietary operating system, limiting the activities of the user to what they allow, not what the user is asking for. So any cyber attack can be launched from shell scripting, number one. If you ask me what is the best language, Python can be used for this purpose very nicely. There are a lot of libraries, and there are so many applications in Kali Linux. You can actually, I recommend Kali Linux if you really wanted to try ethical hacking. There are so many tools, starting from social engineering, phishing, generating attack. All of this is available in Kali Linux. So you can just try it. And when you say editor, there are just editors are just nothing but some tools for writing the scripts. There are so many editors you can use, and Sublime Text is one. Notepad is one. So these are all some of the editors. Actually, editors is not a problem. Well, coming to the second part of the question, the Linux OS or Windows OS offer the more security. So I would tell you, actually, which I just forgot to tell during the presentation. Now, when you say security, it is not outside of the user's hand. The security is complemented by additional applications that are around the user. So number one, if the user is logging in as a guest user with minimum priority or with the least privileges, I am sure there can be no cyber attack that can be launched on any machine or on any user. Biggest problem with all of us is that when we log in as an administrator. So as an administrator, when you download and install a application, there are so many other things that can come along with the download itself. Because most of the time, all of us, we go for free applications, freewares, right? Why somebody should give you something free? There is no free lunch in this world. So if he is giving you a software freely, he's also sending something along with that. So without our knowledge, it will get installed because you are an administrator. It will join your system resources and system processes and will run automatically when you start your operating system, thereby making your life difficult. Then when it comes to Linux, look, there is a feeling around the programming world. The first graphical user interface operating system was not Windows, for your information, it was Macintosh. So it was Bill Gates who saw this first GUI, which is not so famous even today, but he made his own operating system, which is a replica of some other system that is already available, but he became the world's richest man. So there is a vengeance in the programming world. They want all the software and all applications should be free for the programmers and the world of computing. While it is being commercialized, there is an anger inside them. So that is what is making them to launch huge number of attacks on Windows systems. Even though the system by itself is not so weak in proportion to the number of attacks launched on it, but you are also a victim because you are a user of Windows. So my recommendation would be to go for different Linux versions. So you can just can try this. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one more question is there.
Yeah.
Can we learn ethical hacking deeply? Where from we can learn ethical hacking deeply?
Ethical hacking. So actually, you can go to kali.org. Let me give you kali.org, where you can get different information on ethical hacking courses. And you can also go to YouTube. There is a channel called Cyber Mentor. The Cyber Mentor. The Cyber Mentor. So if you just go there, you find a lot of good videos that can help you learn how to do pen testing, how to become an ethical hacker. There are courses starting from up to 15 hours, full ethical hacking course for 15 hours. It's free of cost. You may just download it and then you can try. You can also go to pdfdrive.com and look for books on free ethical hacking. So where you will be able to get a lot of them, slowly start using it. I will recommend the good way to start ethical hacking is to install Kali Linux. There are different tools. You will try them one by one. That will help you.
Sir, I just installed Kali Linux before last month, but
Okay.
I can't use the tools right.
Okay. Can you just tell me the tool that you could not use?
I don't know how to use the tools.
Okay. No, look here. What you do is, what you have to do is, there are many different tools, but there are no tutorials, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what you do is, suppose, let us take, for example, Wi-Fi. Just there is a tool called Wi-Fi, W-I-F-I-T. So it's actually a simple hacking tool where you have to go near a Wi-Fi environment and simply start your Wi-Fi only. Okay. So all you have to do is that when you are unable to follow what it is, the best and simple way is go to YouTube, type Wi-Fi tutorials. Simply type Wi-Fi tutorials, and you will see step by steps. People. I have also posted some, small tutorials on these things. So there are a lot of people who post how to use these different, tools that are present in the Kali Linux effectively. There may be more than one tool for the same purpose. So I would recommend what is all that you wanted to do, list them. Right? One, social engineering, pen testing, launching ICMP attack. So just write down what is your requirement first. And then in Kali Linux, as you know, there are many tools for one purpose itself. Suppose for social engineering, if you say there are 6 or 7 tools. So what you have to do is, going through all of them will not give you an expertise as you expect. Choose one of the single tool and master it. So if you have 5 or 6 activities for ethical hacking, one by one, in one tool, you will be able to just go deeply and master it, so that you will be good in all the skills that you are looking for. Once you are comfortable with at least one tool for the same purpose, then you can enhance your skills by increasing just simply more than the generic skills. So this will be my recommendation for you, my friend.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah. We have come to end of questions. Like, we don't have any more questions, sir.
Okay.
Shabira ma'am, you can wind up. Shabira ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So lastly, I wanted to tell you, if somebody wanted to learn ethical hacking, get more details into becoming a cyber security expert, I will recommend the kali.org Metasploit. They can Google Metasploit.com. These are all some of the websites where different tools are available. Also, they can use Nmap. Nmap can be used to check the security vulnerabilities. Nmap.org, from where you can freely download the Nmap. You can also use Wireshark to capture the packets. To realize how you capture the packet, you can also use GNS3 just to understand actually what is happening by different protocols during communication, like HTTP send the details in clear text, FTP and the Telnet, all these things send the text in an encrypted form. You can understand. And there is also some reverse engineering softwares like EDA Pro. You will be able to just, interpret the encoded versions of your communication, which is captured using the GNS3 and all that. So slowly you can start, and you can become what you wanted. So that is my suggestion. If you have any question, I have given you my email at the first start of the session, bsundar2@bhu.edu.et or bsundar2@gmail.com. Both of the emails will work. You may mail me your questions. I will try to answer them at least in a week's time. I hope, I came up to whatever I wanted to do. I have to thank you all. I'm done.
Thank you, sir. So we have come to the end of our 28th webinar. So actually, I think today's webinar was an international one because many of the participants from Ethiopia also joined us. First of all, I thank our resource person, Dr. B. Barani Sundaram. He explained the topic very well in simple words. So that is why many questions came. So I think he did a great job in this area. So thank you, sir. On behalf of IEEE Malabar subsection, I thank you for this wonderful talk. Next, I thank organizers, that is Sabik sir, and all the executive members of IEEE Malabar subsection for this webinar. all the participants. That is, without this participants, this webinar will not be a success. So I thank all the participants for attending this webinar and asking questions.